Hey everyone, this is your host Khushi Katyal and welcome to the 10th episode of Industry Inside Out. I hope you all are doing well. Today we have Vandana Tolani as our guest, who is the founder and CEO of Convanto, the most well-known boutique investment firms of India. She has 25 years of rich experience in international and domestic business advisory and fundraising, where she helps early stage startups to raise funds across sectors and industry sub verticals. Vanna also had a family office in Singapore and Jakarta, where she worked as an investment banker and advisor to family offices and angel investors. She has also been awarded as one of the top 10 women leaders in wealth management in 2021. Vanna, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So, Vanna, let's just start. And I just wanted to, ask you that, you stayed in Singapore and Jakarta for 15 years and you were already working as an investment banker to MD Capital. So, when you came back to India and started Convanto with two kids, which you told me, to just, so how was that, ride for you? Like, how has that transition period been for you?
So, firstly, it was a great experience coming back with two kids because I believe when you're alone, you learn a lot about your own self. Sometimes, so what happens is that in India, we focus on marriages a lot
Yeah.
and settling down. And in early years, it was pretty much very early when one would get married and want to get settled. But even when I shifted there, I took charge very fast because I had always the entrepreneur mindset. But somewhere, because we look for so many validations around and there is so much to deal with, and I didn't want to deal with all that. So I came back with my kids and started fresh. In the initial years, it was very tough because my family, my friends, um, a lot of people did not actually support my decision.
Oh.
Um, because it was a big decision with two kids that I took on my own. So, because of this decision, I lost a lot of family members, support system, peer support system. But finally, I geared up and I decided that I have to move on because I have taken the decision and I am solely responsible for everything. So in the initial years, people would really look down upon me that, how will she do? And will she be able to do things or no? And they would pass comments and etc. But I actually didn't focus on that.
Hmm.
Um, I focused on the development, positive development of my children because I wanted them to be in a positive environment where their upbringing is really healthy.
Hmm.
And I also, in this journey, learned about my own self, which is I realized that I was always talented, I had everything, but because there was so much around me that somewhere I had shut down. So when I came back, that opened up and gave me a lot of opportunities. Initial years, even children had a hard time, but I think eventually we all settled and uh, we swam in the ocean and finally found our way through this journey. But had I had the support system, it wouldn't have taken me 9 years. It would have taken me
Hmm.
2 years. So I can proudly say I'm a self-made woman.
I mean, that's so inspiring, Vanna, to, hear your journey and how that
Yeah,
even like no matter what your family members said, no matter
yeah,
who all supported you, You were there
yeah,
for yourself and for your kids, and you like it's really great to, I guess, for a woman, specifically Indian woman, I would say that there is no better tag than saying that I'm a self-made woman,
yeah,
because that's like a very difficult journey for a single for a woman to like single-handedly have her own career path
yeah,
charted out for herself. So it's great
yeah.
to see you that. So just wanted to ask you that what inspired you to start your own investment firm? Like you were already
So,
working in Singapore. So like what
yeah.
motivated you to, like I should have my own investment firm?
So, I was heading our own family office fund in Singapore and Jakarta for 15 years.
Okay.
Prior to that, also, I was in investment banking. And so I just thought I'll just pick up that only and start my own firm. Uh, of course, it took a long time for things to settle and for the name to come in. First, there was no name. I was just doing work blindly until somebody pointed out to me that we should have a name now for the company. And then
Hmm.
I thought about it. So it was all one after the other. So I know for sure that, when universe closes a lot of doors and then you get a lot of rejections, you are actually directed towards something which is a purpose in life and lots of other doors. So people started reaching out to me, hey, you should have this name, maybe you should do this, and also things started changing a lot. So that's when in COVID, especially when there was nothing to do, you know,
Hmm.
besides housework and all. And then a law firm actually reached out to me to give a talk. Well, that's really, inspired me because that was my first talk. And after that, there was no looking back because
Hmm.
I gave 350 talks after that. So
Wow.
that was my first talk, and I was like, how would I? So the first time, of course, when you do things, you think, and then I was like, how would I do this? How would I do that? But then finally, I could do it because it was online. Then I was asked to come on VCTV channels. So in the lockdown, I was like 3 times a day on VCTV.
Okay.
Uh, so because they would like my program so much and uh, kept on talking about VCs and all. So everything happened online. Then meetings started happening online. Initially, it was more of offline. So everything started closing online. The
Hmm.
deals, the work, so everything was like sitting on one chair from morning to evening and finishing your work. So it was like a happy thing because you can just manage so many things and just finish that time.
And talking about like the name of your investment firm. So what's the meaning of Convanto? And like how did you decide upon the name for your investment firm?
So it's called Consultant Vandana Tolani. It's Convanto.
Okay.
So what would happen was that initially when I started as an investment banker, like people really don't understand what goes behind investment banking. So they give us different names. Are you took a consultant there? Are he is this? Or she's a broker. So I thought, okay, I will derive something from this only. So I derived that. But there's a lot that goes into investment banking, which people don't understand around us. That how much work we do, how we get the deals done, what are the processes involved. It's like if somebody is selling samosas, what's the process of making? They know it better. We are
Hmm.
just eating the samosa, right? So it's similarly in our profession also. People really don't understand what is all about. So they have their own thoughts and perspectives and judgments around it. So then Convanto name came from there, which also somebody pointed to me that you should have a name. And then we were just discussing what should be the name, and then I gave my thoughts around it, and then this name.
That's an interesting story, Vanna, and an interesting choice of name also. So, talking about the challenges you faced while starting your own firm also. So just I was just reading about your LinkedIn posts, and like I really liked how motivating they are. So few of them, like for the listeners also, like like how you have to embrace the challenges, and then you have to set your career goals. You have to be like like take charge of your career. You have to be focused and directed. So
Yeah.
so during those challenges that you faced, like what were some action steps that you took that pumped you up during that time, or that keep kept you focused, that okay, like this is the path I'm following and I have to stay like focused in it. So what did you, like how did you dealt with your difficult times?
See, what happens is that we have to become a motivation for our own self,
Okay.
because nobody else is going to come and push you.
Hmm.
Nobody else is going to come and, um, give you that determination, which only you can give yourself.
Hmm.
Uh, now, so basically, I did read the book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. I
Okay.
realized that it's all in the subconscious mind. Even the situations that are around us and the situations that come across us, it's all, um, unfortunately, we have attracted it. So I started working on my inner self first, and uh, at any given point in time, uh, the mind needs to be in center.
Hmm.
Like I said, my essentially, what I'm saying is that basically nobody around you will help you, because people will discourage you, they will put you down. You only have to help yourself. Now, it's very important for the mind to be in the center.
Hmm.
Now, if the mind is not in center, you will make wrong decisions. So, like I said, when I came back, I I realized that I was always talented. I was always fine.
Hmm.
I was perfect in the way I am, but self-doubt hits every time, because you get so much information download from people around you, get criticism. Uh, you feel that maybe you are doing something incorrect, or the decisions that you are taken wrong. So when I reflected back, I realized that all the decisions that I took were right. But only thing which was lacking was self-belief, or sometimes it got shaked up
Hmm.
in the beginning. Then when I revived that, I started my journey, I started doing my work. So there's a whole checklist of goals that I made, and one at a time, I started working towards it. That time the children were small. They would fall sick, and I would have to rush for meetings and had to pick them up, do a lot of things. But it all happened also because I was always calm and positive. And I knew that, I have to deal with this. So I think one message also here is that, keep your mind in center. Read the book Power of the Subconscious Mind,
Okay.
go for your walks, keep drinking a lot of water, meditate, or do whatever practices, uh, which are essential. I also believe a lot in the law of attraction,
Okay.
because law of attraction is like law of gravity. It's always with you in your thoughts. So what you're thinking, you have to keep like a conscious thought process in you, because you would attract that. So I think that also helped me a lot. And like I said, when all the doors closed, there were lots of other doors that opened up, which
Hmm.
I was not seeing because I was, just around that whole thing every time. So when I realized, no, I have to shut down everybody, I just have to focus on my work and kids. And I think that's when the journey started because I could focus on my work more than what the negative things around. And, then also people had to say things.
Hmm.
Now also people will say things. So people will always say something or the other,
Hmm.
whether you do this or whether you do that, whether you are there, and they will try to. So this is also one thing that anybody who will criticizing you is criticizing you because they're doing less than you. So if you notice this behavior of people around you, or who have this, they want to criticize you at something or the other.
Hmm.
See, nobody is perfect. I'm not saying I'm a perfect human being. I'm flawless. I'm not an actress. I don't have that Alia Bhatt things or anything. But the thing is that everybody has some flaw or the other. But if a person is doing so many things, instead of appreciating, we are only criticizing or saying, oh, she is this, oh, now she must have done this. So that will never end. Whether it's your surroundings, whether it's your peers, whether it's in your college, whether it's in your this thing, nobody will actually come to you and say, hey, you have this skill.
Hmm.
That people did to me. I can tell you. People came up to me and said, you have this skill. uh, like when I shut down everything, and then people said, you should have a name for the company, or maybe you should do this, and this will look better, and let's try this. So those kind of people I attracted in life who got positivity in my life. So I think that changed also. So I attracted good opportunities, I attracted good people, and my work took up a very big plunge, and that's how things moved. And then there was no looking back because the only thing I did was believe in myself totally, and just focus on what was the good that I could do and what are the resources I'm left with. So there's also a story that, there was this person who had done a lot of work in his factory and built up the entire factory, and suddenly one day the factory burns.
Okay.
Now that person, instead of shattering down, that person sat down and started marking resources. That what are the resources I'm left with to restart. See,
Okay.
uncertainty can happen at any time.
Hmm.
When COVID happened, it was uncertain. What is going to happen, we don't know. I never knew that so many things will happen in my life also, which will bring a drastic change. But then how we also accept each situation, I think that is what makes us a mature person. How we manage information, how we what is the level of maturity in us. So I think that is what takes us to this thing. And now, from all the people whom I have actually shut down, I get messages on my website. Hey, I'm this one, and I see you're doing well. So it's like kind of funny, but
Hmm.
I do get these kind of messages, and then what do I say? I just go silent because there's nothing much to say. You see?
Yeah, I mean, when I was even like listening to you right now, I could totally, relate with what you said that people are going to criticize you no matter what. So it's
Yeah,
totally like it totally depends on you what type of people you want to be with, who are draining your energy and who are, pumping up your
yeah,
energy, and having those good few people in life that can actually help you to move towards your career goals. And that's what you also did.
yeah,
So you intentionally shut them out, and you intentionally attracted those people who were genuinely interested in helping you out. So that's
Yeah.
a great way. And talking about your decision making. So since you were on your path of building Convanto and you still are, you have achieved so many
Hmm.
milestones. So
Hmm.
when you looked back, you thought that yes, I have, taken this, like these were the good decisions for me, and could be like these were the bad decisions. So, what
Hmm.
if an opportunity comes across or different types of decisions? There are different paths which you can, choose. So, what do you do then? Like, how do you decide that, okay, this is the decision I'm going to take, or this is the decision I'm not going to take? Like, how have you built your decision making skills? Like, for us, like, we are still figuring out what we need to do in our career. And then there are many people, even, entrepreneurs or the solopreneurs, the freelancers, everybody has a different decision to make every day. So how, any advice which you could give on how to build good decision making skills, like how have you built yours, and any guidance to us also?
Yeah. So, everybody has their instinct.
Okay.
Now, the instinct will ring a bell and tell you if something is wrong.
Okay.
And whenever my instinct has rung a bell that there is something wrong here, I would just walk away, and I've been most of the time I've been correct. Uh, but as an entrepreneur also, you would pick up a lot of work, lot of things because naturally you want to do. It's not that every time something will go right, but there will
Hmm.
be times when then you will need to uh, learn how to deal with that.
Hmm.
Now, the thing is that in the youngsters, they are very confused. Why? Because there's a lot of exposure. One. Second, there's a lot of peer pressure.
Yeah.
And there's a herd mentality which is going on. So they are not actually following what their heart is saying or what they actually believe in. They are following what their friends are doing.
Hmm.
That is where they are lacking. So this is what like you have to stick to a decision and make sure that you are not going back with it. You're dealing with it. So naturally, from class 1 to class 12, it's steps that you have to take. So you could, at times you will pass in eco, at times you will fail in bio, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not going to be, so it's the same thing with entrepreneurship. You're not always going to succeed, but you're not going to always fail. So you have to, with experience, and not just learning which you do in your classrooms, but with the experiences of life, eventually you will understand that my this decision was right, my this decision went haywire, and then you should not repeat,
Hmm.
because if
Yes.
you're repeating the same things, then it becomes a pattern in you.
Hmm.
So I think that you have to do. And when you make decisions on your own, whether it's money managing, whether it's managing offices, houses, then I think you become a changed person automatically, because they have no choice. They have to make a decision and move on. So it's not that I have made good decisions all the time. I could also, make a bad decision, but most of my decisions have been 99.9% correct, because I do listen to my instinct a lot. And how do we listen to our instinct? For that, we have to sit a lot of in a silence. If you
Okay.
sit in silence with yourself, and what you put in your mind before you go to sleep, if you are seeing something violent, like a violent movie or violent something, then those thoughts penetrate in.
Hmm.
If you just read something good, then those thoughts penetrate into you. So, the one thing that I do before reciting is I thank the universe for the entire day. and everything. And then I read something good. Like I would just pick up something about Sadhguru, or I would just read something about Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, or some something which makes my inner self more distinct. So then I reflect on that, and then uh, I move on the next day. So I think it's very, very important to empty your mind by the end of the day. So for that, you need to sit in silence. You need to have your own time, etc., and that helps you a lot. It's by time. Uh, if all the time somebody else is making a decision for you, at some point you will not be able to decide.
Hmm.
So if all the time somebody tells you, wear blue, wear like this, wear shoe like this, eat like this, drink like this, at some point you will forget what you like and what you dislike. So when you come across a situation where somebody asks you what you like, you'll say anything
Hmm.
because you don't know
Yeah,
what you like.
exactly.
And so, from the beginning, what parents do also is they will force children to have milk. The children would be vomiting at the bus stops. So they would force children, you need to wear like this, sleep like this, eat like this, marry like this, walk like this, talk like this. So that removes your decision making, this thing. So you, from the beginning, if the skills are inculcated, you know, that they let you be. You decide what you want to wear. You decide what you want to eat. You choose. So that choice making decision, if it's yours, automatically you know. आज आपने एक डोनट उठाया, आपको अच्छा नहीं लगा,
Hmm.
ठीक है, आपको पता है नेक्स्ट टाइम आप वो नहीं खाओ, so it was your decision.
Hmm.
So automatically you start taking steps towards, and this comes from early this thing. Like even for my kids, I would have this tiny drawer with 3 4 clothes in there, and I would tell them to pick what they want to wear. So they would pick as toddlers what they want to wear. And I would ask them every day what they want to eat. Uh, and then only what they want to eat, I would make sure that they eat what they have decided to. So I think that is, let them also, they make their own decisions. They decide for their own self. I also decide for my own self. It's like that. So I have this habit also. If I'm with anybody, also I'll ask, "What do you like?" I'm never going to impose my decision on anybody. So this is how you start. If you start practicing, if somebody is all the time telling you what to do, you will not be able to make a decision. So you need to move away from that. So that's why there are children who go to study abroad, because there they learn the maximum lifestyle to make decisions on them, whether it's money, whether it's a job, whether it's study. And I think investment, parents need to invest in the child's career more than the child's relationships, marriages. I think very important for the girls to be financially fully independent. Um, and that should be the goal of each parent, along with the goal of teaching skills, helping each other do, in how many Indian homes do we help each other recognize each other's skills, or in colleges or in offices also? Do we go walk around departments and try to make friends and say, hey, you have this skill? I mean, you're not giving money to anybody. You're not doing anything. You just have to tell somebody, hey, you have this skill. It's a costless thing which will last with that person for a lifetime. My son's Hindi teacher, she had actually told me that I need to do something with my voice, because she felt that my voice is my skill. So she told me, आप कुछ करो अपनी आवाज से, आप कुछ करो, because आपकी आवाज बहुत ज्यादा मीठी है. So that's when I started actually doing podcasts. And
Okay.
initially, I would do not video podcasts, I would do a lot of audio podcasts. Then I went to videos and all. So this is the thing. And you remember we had in the lockdown that Clubhouse.
Yeah, yeah, we
Uh,
had, huh?
so I would go to Clubhouse and I would do my listening there about so many things because naturally in COVID we had nothing to do with. I would also speak a lot there, and it really that platform is a good platform to speak and to do a lot. Now it has become kachira, but before it was not kachira. So that's another thing. Um, so basically, it's this. So if you just know these are the basics, then I think it will really help you.
I mean, that is, like there's so many learnings and takeaways to, take from you, Vanna. And I really like the idea that whenever you get advice from a person, any skill which they tell you, and they like, tell you to work on it, you actually do. And that is also
Yeah,
like, has helped you to see from a different, from others' point of view, and then actually, work upon yourself. And I mean, there were so many learnings. For a second, I literally like went blank, and I was just listening to you, like like having my
yeah,
hand on my face, and it was as if like my mom is sitting here, and she's telling me, and she's having that optimistic mindset, like you, and you actually have a very sweet voice. So it was
yeah,
like having that motherly feeling, and like you said about peer pressure and the students like following the herd mentality. So I could remember one of your quotes, which I would like to tell to my listeners also. So Vanna has a very wonderful quote, which is when we allow ourselves to fail, we also give ourselves permission to succeed. So I really like this, like this quote is so powerful that just, keep on committing mistakes, keep on making decisions, even if they are good, even if they are bad, but again that it would help you to discover your individuality, and like you said that it helps you to explore yourself, it helps you to become independent, and so that even if you are any in a difficult situation, like what which way to go to next. So you have to be on your own, like you have been like doing it for your kids also. So I really like that you are helping them, like you help them out since they were young, helping them to make choices for themselves. So that's a really great way to imbibe this, like
yeah.
the power of individuality. So I just
I
wanted to,
think
yeah, go ahead.
to add on to that also, I'll tell you that we are brought up in a society where one should not make mistakes.
Hmm.
That is the thinking that we are brought up with. So, but we should be allowed to make mistakes because that helps us grow. Now, as teenagers make really stupid decisions, they do stupid things and all. But when we allow them to do, and so there are two things we need in we want to impart a lot of education, but we don't want to empower.
Hmm.
Now, when we don't empower anybody, then that's when these things happen. As toddlers also, how many toddlers are allowed to carry a glass, the glass, the the glass which can break, and allowed to walk from here to there. First, you will tell the toddler, "नहीं नहीं गिर जाएगा." So, but ऐसे मत करना, वो ऐसे हो जाएगा. So you are actually conditioning the mind. But
Yeah.
if you allow that toddler to walk with that glass and to keep it and a few times, and even if once the glass breaks, the child will automatically realize that this is how I should hold it, or this is I need to done. So all these are uh, helps you bring your personality. Now, sometimes we as parents, I mean, especially in our Indians, we instead of helping our toddlers or our children or and recognizing anything, we actually condition their mind with things. So they will ruin their personality instead of building up their individuality. If you fail in a subject, so you're bad. If you didn't bring 90, you're bad. Uh, you know, so that shouldn't, I think that is what really, even in further in life, you might take up a job which is really not suited for you, but you feel that it's suited for you, you'll do it. Uh, and uh, even if somebody points out to you, you'll say, no, I'll do it. But only it's when you realize it and you're supposing your dad says, go ahead, try it. It's a good opportunity. So don't miss it. You'll get something out of it, you know, uh, and you'll actually, you can either achieve or that is, a life thing which will see life will go on.
Hmm.
Problems will come, mistakes people make, and people this thing, but it's also how you're brought up, which makes a lot of decision. Lot of makes a lot of difference essentially in your decision making, in your behavior skills. For me, one important thing in life is also how you behave. You can be highly educated. You can be a master's in this one. You can do lots of, but if you don't know how to behave, you uh, you lose everything. I could reach at a certain level, you could reach at a certain level, but the moment we lose our behavior skills, our mannerisms, I think that's when we have lost the entire battle. And to be honest, it's not only about the education, it's about a lot about empowering, like I mentioned, which turns so I would want to give this message loud and clear, empower each other.
Hmm. I'm getting, like you said.
Yeah.
So that was a great advice, Vanna, that, we have to empower each other. And the more it, like the parents give freedom to their children to make choices, to, you know, think from the starting, like for their own, it would help them later on in life also. So that's a great piece of advice. So I just wanted to ask one thing that you said you like for any decision to make, for any choice to make, you have to be calm mind. And you told some methods like you like listen to Sadhguru, and then you have listened to this book also, The Power of Subconscious Mind. So since you are the founder of an investment firm, right? So your day must be very hectic. So how do you find time for yourself? Like, do you create a space for yourself? Or is it that you have allotted a specific time for yourself? Because most of us, what people say, like us, like our generation, it's like, I don't find the time, or like there's so much to do. How should I do it? When should I do it? So how do you find time, and like what would be your advice to the people who just keep on saying that I don't have time, like just like how do you do it?
So when we say I don't have time, we actually, um, so, just we are telling it loud that we don't have time, but we actually have a lot of time.
Okay.
Even if we have a very busy schedule, we will still have a lot of time. Okay, so this is just a myth that we don't have time. Now, initial years, now also, especially my USA, UK clients and all, I do cater to them in the evening time, but I do shut myself down in the evening.
Okay.
So now, after 9 years, I have put this WhatsApp message that goes to everybody that who pings me at the wrong time, that my timing is 10 to 6.
Hmm.
Uh, and then I shut down, and then Usually in the night, about 1 hour before I sleep, I'm only reading good things. I don't like go into business at that hour. But unless a UK or USA client has pinged to ask something, but apart from that, that is so that is time. It's not that every day you get sleep early. It's not every day you sleep late also. So you get a lot of time. You get a lot of time in the morning also before you start your day. It's just that how you start and how you. So time management is one thing that only you can do it for yourself. And if you learn it at an early age, it's really going to support you in to do a lot many things. It's very essential part of life. So this there has to be a time just for yourself. I'm not saying that you might like spirituality or reading good things, but maybe you just like singing, or
Hmm.
maybe you just like listening to songs, or maybe you just like to take a walk with your dog or whatever. I mean, some people like to go to beauty parlor, some like to drive, some everybody likes to do something which they like, play
Yeah.
badminton. So I think everyone should play one sport at least, whether it's morning or evening, because that also helps you build your teamwork, etc. And also, try to do some exercises, yoga, drink lots of water, something that will really help you in the entire day. So for some people, music is important. For some people, something is important. So I think we all get that 1 hour for ourselves. If we don't, also we have to manage. My day begins at 5:30,
Okay.
and I sleep by 12. Yeah, so that's my everyday thing.
I mean, it's, like really interesting to know that you have separated your personal and professional lives. And I guess in
Yeah,
today's time, when we have so much of, technological devices around us, our tablet, our phone, our computer, then there is WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. So, like to create that space for yourself where you are just simply saying no to all of this stuff. Like when you are at work, you are at work. But when you are not, you are
yeah,
giving time for yourself or your family or anything which you like to do. So I guess that's a great way to, calm yourself down and also be energetic for the next day. If you are not breaking up from your like the professional work, if you are still in that, like cycle of working, then you won't be able to have that fresh mindset for the next day. So like you have,
yeah,
said that you have created that WhatsApp message. Even I received it, that like message Vandana from 10 to 6 p.m. So I was like,
yeah,
okay, like I would disturb her after that. And it's a
yeah,
great way to, tell people also that like I won't be available. So you have to manage that. I am available, but you have to reach me at my hours. So that's a great way to separate your personal and professional life.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Because we have some clients that message at wrong hours, call at
hmm,
wrong hours, and they just want to trouble, etc. We
hmm,
have people like that. Now, another thing that I want to slightly correct here, that
yeah,
social media is not a bad thing.
hmm,
That what people say that it's like Insta. Actually, if you channelize it in the right direction, it's a good thing. You get good learnings. You would get to read good quotes there. You would do, something comedy you can see, like if you want to do. You can read something knowledgeable. So it's not having a Facebook, Insta, a LinkedIn is a good thing. But how you're channelizing your energy on that also, that you need to understand. You can either do things productively on that or you can do destructive. That's the choice that you have to make. But of course, constantly, I think people have to understand that a person cannot work for like really like long hours. That You know, I had one person the other day message me, hey, I have a deal. That it was around 11 o'clock. And
Okay.
I've told this person several times that, this is my time, and the automatic message is also gone. I said, I just need a 2 minutes call. I just need a two. I said, nothing is on fire. No house is on fire that I need to call you back now or take your call now. We can do this tomorrow. So I wouldn't, so we have to ourselves stop, because how much were you going to talk about work? How much are you going to think about work? How much are you going to think about your work only? At some point, you have to have other thoughts and have a balanced life, which is having a balanced life is really, really important. uh, you know, from your prayers to managing your house to managing this thing is what makes you a person. If you cannot have a balanced life, you cannot be working 24 times 7. That saying is there, no? All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. You can't be doing that. You can't be all the time just playful and not do anything and say, hey, everything is going to be okay. The things will fall on your lap. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you have to actually um, do different things. I mean, I cannot just sit and say, oh, hey, the house will run if I'm just sitting the whole day. Yeah, we have to do things. So
Hmm.
basically, it's just have to keep working towards it. Every day is a passing show. It's today is gone, tomorrow is gone. Like it's passing. But how you take your day, in which manner, with how you move is talks a lot about you. I mean, it's not that every day I have a good day. There could be bad days, but then how you deal with it also talks about yourself. So, and at some point you have to shut down the work. I mean, if you go to college from 7 to 3 or 4 o'clock, at some point you need a break, right? Whether it's a tea break or a food break. Why are we taking those breaks? To energize. So, even as human, we are not machines that we can be constantly working all the
Yeah.
time. So that's the thing.
So, like, I just had this interesting question also, like you like talked like
Yeah.
separating your personal and professional lives. So, my question was that how do you say no to a client? Like I have been also like, personally, sometimes even I face this problem that when I reach out to, new like startup founders or new people, so sometimes it is that when they are free, I'm not free. Like I have to like, let's say like close my shop down ki that I am not available at this time. I would be like available afterwards, and if you are also available, so we can just arrange a call. But sometimes it's very difficult to say no to a person, like if they are
Hmm.
like coming in those hours where you are not like free, you are giving yourself time. So how do you like say no to a client, or like what happens like at that point of time, like for any like the creatives, also for the people who are like in their like journey to figure out their career. Sometimes it's very difficult at that point that like how can I say no to the other person, or like if it won't look good, I'm just starting out, that person is so like that person is paying me money, how can I say no to them? So how do you like tackle such clients, or like what do you do in that scenario?
Yeah, I think you just have to be authentic. If you're authentic, you can just say no also very politely, like, look, I have something else at this hour and I cannot attend to you. I will attend to you tomorrow. So, I mean, you should never feel bad in saying no. No is a no. I mean, and if you're authentic about it, I think nobody will feel bad. It's like I said, how you portray yourself. Um, you might know that the client is really important. You cannot really say no or anything, but you can just say, look, I'll attend. to, I'm not in office right now. I'll be in office tomorrow morning. I'll attend to you then. The more polite and firm you are, the more it is better. And you can say no. I mean, you're not doing anything wrong. So, like I said, you have to be authentic. This fear factor, what will this one think and that one thing, also is one thing that one needs to get rid of. So instead of thinking what the other person will think and that is causing you fear, that's fear. So if you are thinking about fear, fear will come back to you. You have to remove all the fears. If you're authentic, automatically the fears will get removed from your life. And believe me, you should fear nothing because there's actually nothing to fear in this entire life. It's all made, created. Everything is done by us. We are the
Hmm.
creators. Of course, we have a higher creator above us as well, but we are creating everything. So everything you do will have consequence.
Yeah.
And the moment you become fearless, you become a tigress, people start, being fearful of you. They will
Hmm.
start respecting you. So I think you can just say no. If any client troubles you at wrong hours, or you can just put that automatic message on. It's actually in your hands that how you deal with it. Um, Nobody can actually do anything to you unless you allow. So
Hmm.
you have to stop at some point and say, look, I'm not available right now. You have not booked an appointment. It's not on my calendar. So you can use professional terms and I'm in another meeting right now. So, just do everything professional. So as long as you're professional, it will reflect on your character.
I mean, it's really, great piece of advice that the choice is up to you, right? It's like even when you are not making a choice, you're still making a choice because the other person will make it for you. So if you are not
Yeah.
saying no, then you all like the other. So you have to like show up, right? You don't have any other choice. But if you are like just saying that okay, like I'm busy right now, we'll talk it later, and like we'll figure something out. So I guess that's also like creating a boundary also, like a personal and a professional boundary, and to like make sure that you are giving yourself the time as well, and just like taking a break from your professional life. So like talking about professionalism, and what does like a day in your life looks like how do you show up to your work every day and make sure that you are um like doing the work, and then again you're finding yourself the time. So how do you manage that professionalism? Like what does a day in life of Vandana Tolani looks like?
So it begins usually in the morning. Uh, so everybody, even you are, if you are the CEO of the house, or I mean CEO of your company, you will
Hmm.
first look into your house. So till about 10 o'clock, I'm with my own stuff, and then I move on. So I would always, what is that saying? Dress up, show up, and never give up. So that's the entire
Okay.
day all about. So, however I would just dress up, show up, and never give up. So, I think that's what would my entire day be. And then I usually start off my day. Every day is different. Some days I have meetings, some days I have podcasts, some days I have talks in several places. Someday I have a transaction happening. Someday I have something else happening. And every day is not the same day because things change in an entrepreneur's life. But I end my day by 6:30. I Yesterday I was at an event. It was post 6:30. Mm. But I had decided that I would leave by 6:45, so I left.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's, of course, I went there at 5:30. I knew I would be there for 1 hour and then I would just leave. So, uh, if I would just leave it, I mean, everybody was saying, why are you leaving? But then I have to leave it, so I have to leave. And then there are the other things that, I do in the evening. Uh, so my day is pretty hectic because I have lots to do, lots of people to attend to, and lots of work at home and at work and with transactions. But I think at the end of the day, I feel very satisfied because I feel that everything is given to me by my work. So I really respect my work. I honor my work. And I look forward for another day of work. I think that's what keeps me going. And we have a few days in the week where we distribute food uh, to children, to poor people, about 200 people. We also help 15 kids with books, um, with things that they need, with food, whatever. So that is another activity that we do also besides working. That also keeps me busy. There's so much. I mean, it's an endless thing. There travels. The Dubai government is calling me. The Italy government is calling me. So I think
Wow.
that there's a lot of things that keep happening. Uh, NYU has just called me uh, for a talk as well. They just messaged me today. So every day is a different day, a different opportunity, and it just goes with the flow. So I just take as the day comes in. But of course, I work with after a certain hours, I don't work. There were people who used to message me on Saturdays and Sundays. So if you noticed on my automatic message, I put I don't work on Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, yeah, I noticed.
So I shut myself down on Saturday, Sunday also because you need to recharge your batteries.
Yeah.
Uh, so you shut down, and I tell my workers also don't work on Saturday. It's fine. So it's like that.
I mean, seeing you being so disciplined in your life,
Mm,
like if you have to leave, then you have to leave. Like you can't stay like, one more minute because again, like I guess for Indians specifically, I don't know that like that 1 minute goes till an hour or so. Like even when guests come and when they, when there is like we say each other goodbye. So that goodbye also takes around like an hour for us, like standing in front of the car, saying each other goodbye. So like that if I have to like do this thing, I'll do it. If I have to show up to work, I have to show up to work. And like the
yeah,
quote you said, like show up, dress up, and like never give up. I guess that would be the new mantra for me personally. That is so empowering also. So like seeing you, I know that you had your struggles, you had your challenges, you had all of that, right? But it's just that for people like us, like the people again, like I'm referring to the people who are, just starting out, the young
mm,
entrepreneurs or even the startup founders, seeing you, it seems like everything is, so sorted for you now that you have
yeah,
achieved
yeah,
such a big thing. You're like Dubai government is calling you, you're doing so many talk shows, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, just like any, last piece of advice from your side to the people who are starting out in their career and who are not seeing like just the big names or just the, like what action steps they need to do to become like to realize their potential. Like you had your struggle, right? Like you had so much, challenges in front of you. So what you did to become who you are today, and for the like the piece of advice for us that we like ignoring all the like the shiny stuff, what we need to do to become disciplined, to follow professionalism, like any last piece of advice from your side.
Surely. So I think everybody has a potential in them. They just have to tap that potential. And once you tap that potential, I think you will reach wherever you want to. Staying humble, uh, and how you behave. So that really will take you a long way. It won't be your job. It won't be your, um, how much you have earned. It won't be your this thing, but how you behave will have that everlasting impact. Some people will remember you for your work, but some will remember you for your behavior. So that's really the key to it. Um, and apart from that, I think, take a day as it comes. That's really, really important. Um, don't just rush into making impulsive decisions, or, if you need to, even if you're angry, you don't need to really like just blast off to the moon, but you can just take time, think, drink some water, and see how you want to react to it. Because everything that you react to um, speaks about yourself, how you react to situation, how you react to, surroundings, how you react to circumstances. I think that all will take you a long way. Not having a herd mentality, not don't just keep following each other. Uh, Make sure that you're always focused and you're focused on your goal. What's your goal? And what if I may ask you, what is your goal in the next 6 months?
Okay, that's a great question. And like being at a spotlight here, like just ticked me off for a second. So, like, my goal is personally to, like meet more interesting people like you, like interacting with, different startup founders and getting to know them personally. And of course, like calling them out for my podcast to share their journey with others. So, it would be like working on my podcast and making it more professional, and then again like growing my audience. That's my goal for the next 6 months.
Okay, so I'll tell you that your actual capital will be your human capital. It is not
Okay.
your financial capital.
Okay.
Your human capital, starting from your school days to your college, to your alumni, to your colleagues, that stays with you for very long. Your network. So I think that if you start building up that as well, that will stay with you for a long time, other than anything else. So young entrepreneurs need to work on that. And I have seen many entrepreneurs that they're just jumping into the startup thing
Yeah.
also and burning their parents' money. So I think that should be avoided. First 2 years, gear and toast yourself in, I mean, grill and toast yourself in being in a job where you learn skill sets. You learn what's the hard way to earn money. And then, when you have your own savings, then you start the entrepreneurship journey, because that also needs a lot of investments.
Hmm.
Unless you already making good earnings, etc., and you don't need anybody, then it's a different thing. But then that should be your this thing goal towards it, that you need to first learn how to earn,
Hmm.
and then you can when you know all the skill sets of being an entrepreneur, that's when you take a plunge in this way.
That's an interesting piece of insight that uh, like just don't jump like directly
Yeah,
into entrepreneurship. Like learning is also an important part, right? So it would be like
yeah,
you are learning new skills, you're learning new concepts, and then you are simultaneously applying it. And then so it's a whole learning curve, and that's a steep learning curve. Like you'll fail, you'll succeed, And then it's like, it's a journey, and it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? Like slowly
Yeah,
and steadily you are working towards yourself. And like you said, the power of human capital. And you also constantly said that you should learn to behave. And I feel in
yeah,
today's time, people give more importance to the financial capital or the numerical stuff. Like they focus on the like quantitative analysis or stuff like that. But the important thing is that if you don't know how to talk to a person, if you don't know how to build your network, so that again would like it would fall down. Like if you are a startup founder and you don't know how to talk to a customer, so how would you even like generate sales for your business, right?
right,
And that's where
right.
human capital and then your network plays an important role. That you should know, like that's the major thing that's happening there, that like your power of interaction with other people, that you're talking like a normal human being, you're not a machine. So that's a good piece of advice which I haven't heard personally, from anyone, that focus on the human capital, focus on your individuality, your professionalism, and just stay focused on your path. So that's a great piece of advice, Vanna. And any last piece of advice, anything which you would like to say to my audience, to the people who are like on their way on the journey of entrepreneurship, who are like impresarios, the people who want to be in the VC industry. So any advice, any piece of advice for them.
Uh, well, I would just say that whatever you do, just believe in yourself. And because that is, if you don't believe in yourself, then you will not reach in the right direction. And from now on, uh, this is my message to the audience. Whoever you meet, talk about their skills. Help
Hmm.
them recognize one skill. Even you help two people recognize a skill and help two people stand on their feet with the help of their skills. Somebody could be good at writing, somebody could be good at marketing, somebody could be good at operations. Sometimes people are unable to recognize the skill. If you can help two people recognize the skills, which will help them stand on their feet, this should be our like a chain that
Hmm.
goes on, and people should start telling, hey, you have this skill, you have that skill, and nothing else, just your skill.
Yeah.
Focus on this. So then everybody will have two skills. Once you have the skills, then each and every person, whether it's a male or a female, will be able to stand on their feet faster,
Hmm.
and they will be able to get motivated, they will get encouraged. Instead of criticizing, start appreciating people around you, their skill sets. You know, you will see a lot of change, whether it's your staff, whether it's the people around you. If you appreciate uh, anybody, the work that comes across would be more than anything else, even if they did the tiniest thing for you. I mean, saying a thank you to them would, would make a lot of difference. Appreciating that, hey, you did this for me. I really remember. So these things will really take you long. These are small things. I mean, people might think after listening to this podcast that she's so stupid. But the thing is that these small things, when we don't pay attention to, this is when we start lacking in a larger way, because not only there are a lot of people who are going to get discouraged by the way we behave, by the way we do things, they are also going to get demotivated. Our duty as a human, so essentially, I would say that, if you go to temple 10 times a day or you pray 5 times a day because You go to the mosque or you go to the Gurdwara. Instead of that, start converting yourself to be a good human, because that is going to bring you um, uh, the goodness in you, because essentially all the religions also say this, right? I mean, if you're not a good human, um, then I think you have not, and
There
what are
is
the
no point of,
qualities?
yeah.
Yeah, there's no point. And what would be the qualities? Being humble, staying grounded, and also helping others, appreciating others, and helping them recognize their skill
Hmm.
instead of just slamming them down. We are not good listeners at all. I would tell you this, we would never listen. So I think when you start listening to people, you would learn more than what you thought, because listening is also an art. That is goes really long. So I think we should be that is one thing.
I mean, I personally feel that these are so important skills in today's time where people are just speaking. So it's my problem also that I'm more of a talkative person, speaking person, less of a listening person. And people have actually told me that Kushi improve that skill. So I'm like, okay, I'll definitely work on it. So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, also showing gratitude to people, saying thank you, like a simple thank you, like it's not that like in friends language we often say, right, that don't say thank you and just like it's what friends do. But again, saying that simple thank you, showing like gratitude towards the help that has been given to you by the other person, and
yeah,
then staying, being humble and staying grounded. So like talking to you, I have realized that like I could picturize you, like that these skills have actually, helped you become what you are today. Like you're so humble, and like I hadn't like hear you personally. So hearing your sweet voice has just like touch wood like made my day. So
thank you.
it's really great. And thank you so much, Vanna, for taking out the time to come to this podcast. And yeah, I mean, it was nice to chat with you.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast, and thank you also for your precious time, and thank you for everything.
Thank you so much, Vanna. And to everybody else, thank you for listening. See you until next time.